means no, hashtag consent. No, of course means no. What I want to say by no means no, I will explain at the end of the presentation. The main topic would be the presence of multiple negation markers in Wagadi. So the first question, okay, yeah, the first question that comes into your mind when we hear a topic like this for a lay person or for a person who has very little exposure to linguistics is, what does negation mean? I mean, people have a general idea about what negation is, but I bet you guys can try right now, right, to answer this question in your mind. And I bet that you would not be able to do it without using a negation marker or negation, right? It's very difficult to explain what negation means. It's a very logical thing. It's very it's very inherent to your own logic. So it's very cognitive in that way. Also, yeah, about the questions, you can ask me questions anytime. And I can see the questions now in the chat window. I mean, like, I can see the chat window, but yes, we can. I will have logical pauses in the presentation where you can ask me questions at that time, or but the way this is going to work is that I will be asking you questions as well. I want this to be interactive. So while people are asking me questions, I would be asking you guys some questions about your language, and maybe you can type them out in your chat window, or just like think about it. And this way we might learn about how to think about language, how can we do research on language, how can we do linguistics. This is the entire point of this presentation I'm trying to drive home. I'm sorry for many other people, because I meant this presentation to be very basic, to be very conceptual. It's nothing new, but just taking through my entire process of how I came to these research questions. So yeah, again, coming back to what does negation mean. uh, this is a comic strip, for example, where a teacher is explaining, when processing language, be careful of the context. Many languages use double negatives to mean positives. Luckily for us, though, no language seems to use double positives to mean negatives. And then one person says, yeah, right, in a sarcastic way, which shows that apart from the canonical ways of expressing negation, there could be many non-linguistic or many other forms, or covert forms of expressing negation. Sarcasm is one way, right? But we won't be talking about sarcasm today. We would be talking about the overt expression of negation. Uh, so, negation in language. Uh, this is what I try to come up with a definition. Basically, negation is denying the truth of a negated sentence, uh, or a part of the sentence. So, what I mean to say is, example 1a, Ram eats an orange. If that is a fact, the fact would have a truth value. We assume it to be true. Then the alternate of that Ram, it is not the case that Ram eats an orange, is the negation of that sentence, which is normally expressed by Ram does not eat an orange, right? And not here is the negation marker. And so basically, negation markers are uh, elements, negatively marked overt elements, which express negation. And these negation markers will vary in type, position, and number of such markers, right? Uh, so not is an example. And am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Vyom, you're audible.
Yeah, all right, cool. So not is an example. But the question arises, does English have only not as a negation marker? You guys can think about that while I move ahead. So yeah, question time now. I hope we are clear with the concept or definition of languages. And in the meanwhile, can you try to list down some words from your language which express negation, your negation markers in your language? So just like you can put in your chat window your language and the different like negation, negative words in your language which you can think of, right? This is something to think about, and I will move ahead. So about the expression of negation in language, in linguistics, Horn noted that it is a marked phenomenon. So you cannot express, there is no naturally occurring negated sentence in the language. All sentences are there, and there will be a negation of that sentence which has to be overtly marked. So even a sentence like Ram does not eat an orange, the negation of that will be, it is not the case that Ram does not eat an orange and then we have Ram eats an orange. So you have to mark that by putting the negation marker or not putting the negation marker. And Greenberg suggested that way back in 1966 that there are only a limited number of strategies which would cover all the ways in which negation is expressed in language. So first point, negation has to be overtly expressed. There has to be some marker, some overt marker that would express the element of negation. And the second thing, that there are only limited ways of doing so. Zanotini listed these different strategies in these three ways. First is morphological negation, morphosyntactic negation, and lexical negation. What are these? Let's see. So morphological negation is something which is used by Turkish, for example, where there is a dependent morpheme which can be integrated in the verb. So as you can see in example 2, the negation is inside, it's a morpheme inside the verb. The morphosyntactic negation is a verbal cluster with a negative auxiliary expressing tense, aspect, mood, and person. So it's basically, it's a mix between a morpheme and like a morphological strategy and a syntactic strategy to express negation, right? So it will never be, all right, this one. Yeah, should I move ahead?
Yeah, Vyom, I think.
Okay, yeah. So morphosyntactic negation, the example is given for Tongan, where the negation is not expressed in independently. It's co-occurring with other syntactic elements of the language, like aspect in this particular case. Now I will go ahead and say that we'll come back to morphosyntactic negation in a little while. Then we have lexical negation, which most of us are most familiar with. Independent and overt lexemes, words which are negatively marked and are different from the corresponding affirmative verb, right? So Hindi is the best example. Sunil सेब खाता है, Sunil eats an apple, Sunil सेब नहीं खाता है. Or we can also eliminate the hair there, right? And which means Sunil does not eat an apple. And the nahi overtly is an independent verb which is expressing the negation of the sentence 4a, right? So and this is different from all the other forms, and this is the most generic, the most general, as far as I know, is the most general form of expressing negation in, at least in IA languages. So again, question time. while you guys ask me questions, you can think about how does your language express negation. Is there just one way of expressing negation or more? And I don't see any negation markers in the chat window, so I guess nobody's ready to do any. This is not a give and take, but yes, these are things that you can think about uh, for your language. Any questions?
Okay, so since Vyom has reprimanded us already, I'm gonna go and type out a negation marker in my language.
Fine, I'll move ahead then. While people can type while doing this, or just think about it, I will move ahead. Okay, so now we have talked about negation. This is just a brief introduction to what Wagadi is. Wagadi is a dialect of the Bhil languages, which is a group of languages spoken by the people of the Bhil tribes. Phillips has said that it displays an oh, Shikhar has a question. What sort of negation marker is un in undo in Zanutini's classes? Uh, so it would be it's like const it's like constituent negation. I'm not very sure. I can't say anything with total confidence about these negative prefixes in nouns, right? But they do express negation. They do express a negative element, uh, which is definitely different from expressing sentential negation, as in the negation of a proposition. So, yeah, I think that. All right. Coming back to introduction to like Wagri, it displays an amalgam of features incorporated from its surrounding linguistics environment. So it's as you can see, this is the region where Wagri is spoken. It is at the borders of the Rajasthan and Gujarat states, and it displays certain properties, a lot of low, like borrowed lexicon, a lot of shared lexicon with Gujarati, with Mewari, with other Rajasthani dialects, languages, right? And and even then, there are certain characteristics which are different from these languages. Uh, so it's a very interesting language to work on. Uh, and there are many sub dialects. It's a very huge region. There are like 3 districts, so there are many sub dialects, and there's a lot of micro variation based on geographical, social, cultural, and economic factors. Now we come to the main object of the presentation, the negation markers in Wagri. So as we can see, I am seeing 3 negation markers, 2 negation markers, 1 negation marker, right? I was thinking about Wagri, and I had never noticed like why would my language be something that I would require to do research upon, right? And I definitely wanted to work on negation, and what I found out was really surprising. So that Wagri expresses negation with 5 different types of negation markers. Of course, those negation markers are used in independent contexts. So there is ne, which is the sentential or propositional negation, nati, which is the copular negation. I'm calling it copular negation right now. Na, an anaphoric negation, nak, imperative, and nake, polite imperative negation. I will come to each of these and what do they mean and what are the contexts that they are used in. But what I want to emphasize upon is that when you really set up to like look working on your language or working on a topic, and you really look close and you really do some work on your language or any language that you are interested to work in, you can find a gold mine. And that is what I had with Wagri, that there are 5 different negation markers, right? Uh, and so then we come to the first negation marker, ne, that is the sentential negation. So it is used to express sentential or propositional negation. Uh, what does so proposition has been something that has been uh, tossed here and there, I guess, in some of the presentations earlier. It's basically a sentence, a normal factual sentence that we believe to be a fact, right? Or but it would have a truth value, right? It could be true or it could be not true. And so if that proposition is P in very simple semantics, if that proposition is P, negation of the proposition P will be neg P, which is expressed with the symbol here. This marker is the prime focus of many previous studies in negation in language, and the negation marker will be the basically the expression of this logical negation of a proposition. So 5a, मैं केरी खादी, I ate a mango, and sentence B, मैं केरी नहीं खादी, which is I did not eat a mango. It's very simple. I hope it's clear.
Vyom,
Yeah.
there is a question. Would you like to take it now?
Yeah, I can see Kinjal's question, right?
Okay,
Your
yeah,
question. Yes, I can use it in. This is no, yeah, I can use it in present tense. Sorry for the past tense example, but I can use it in all canonical negation, sentential negation situations in present, past, and future. Yeah. Okay. Now we come to Nathi, which I am calling copular negation. It has been called by many different names by different people. Although there has been a lot of descriptive work on these kind of negation markers, but not a lot. So it's basically used to express stative or copular negation. For people who do not know what a copula is a sentence which just is a sentence like 6a. I am a doctor. I and doctor, right? Ram is a doctor. Ram, doctor. Ram is happy. Ram, happy. The properties of the second element are attributed to the first element. This is how a copula is expressed, right? So I am a doctor, a copula, and in this particular context, we use mu doctor nathi. I am not a doctor, right? So nathi is the copular negation marker here, right? Again, question time. Translate the following in your language. Pinky is a doctor and Pinky is not a doctor. And when you do that, what do you see? Try to look at it and see whether the copula construction in your language does it have an auxiliary verb. What I mean by an auxiliary verb is the who, mu doctor who element in 6a, right? The be verb, is that present or is it not present? I'm sure it might differ for a lot of people here. Also, is the negation marker 2 in your sentence Pinky is not doctor, is it different from your canonical negation marker? So then that would mean that you also have more than one negation marker. Okay, so if there are any questions, you can ask them. Otherwise, I'll just move ahead. The dog is not here. No. I don't think so. No, I won't use it there. For dog is not here, I won't use it. Yes. Uh, so now, uh, as we can see from example 6b and 5b, the canonical negation, the sentential negation marker, it occurs in the pre-verbal position, whereas nati occurs in the sentence final position, where the copula is present. What it might, hint towards is that there are different syntactic compositions or structures of these two negation markers whenever they are present. For this we will have to figure out what is negation in that syntactic structure, and let's assume that there is an independent syntactic projection for NEC-P. If we assume that that might lie somewhere between T and B, and it might move to the copula at T. Copula meaning the B verb, which might be present at T. So what I mean to say is this diagram, right? If this is visible, uh, is this visible?
Yeah, it is.
Sure. Okay. Gopal has asked, Dravidian languages, is it a question? Okay, it's just
I
a
think, yeah,
point.
it's a comment.
All right. So this is what I meant to say by the previous statement. This is what we are assuming right now. Okay. First of all, there is NEC-P. Okay. We are assuming the existence of NEC-P, a projection specifically for expressing negation, right? Then the question comes, where does this NEC-P disappear when there is no negation, right? So keeping that aside, when there is negation, we have this projection. It should be above VP, because VP will be the main body of the proposition that we are expressing, right? So Ram eats an apple, or Ram is a doctor. That would be the main proposition, and it should be in VP somewhere, and it should be below T. Now this neg element here, it will incorporate with the T. It will move to the T, or the T will move to the neg or something, or it will not move and it will just be expressed together to form a kind of incorporation, right? Now, there is one fact which Kinjal was hinting towards, is that nathi, not the name marker, not the sentential negation marker, but the copula negation marker nathi, surfaces only for copula constructions in the past tense and not for the only in the present tense and not for the past tense. So 7a, Ram doctor hato, again a copula in past tense. Ram was a doctor. Ram doctor ne hato. Ram doctor nati hato does not work for me. I don't know if it works different, because uh, the Gujarati nati is also similar. So I don't know whether it appears there for past tense or not. I have no idea about that. But for Vagidi, it does not. We have to use the sentential negation marker. So this is a very important and interesting observation. Uh, so now if we do assume a neck to T movement in case of negative copula constructions in Vagdi, what we see is that it is blocked in the past tense context. It can be, Kinjal. This is just a assumption that I am working with right now. I am not presenting any analysis or any diagnostics to prove that where the position or the structure of the NEC-P would look like. There might be one negation, like NEC-P, there could be two NEC-Ps, These are things that I am looking at right now. But yeah, it's a possibility. We just have to check. We have to analyze the data and check with diagnostics. Yeah. So as I was saying, the neck to T movement or this incorporation, this Nathi mark is not present and it is blocked in the past tense context. And this phenomenon of this incorporation of negation with expression of negation into tense and mood markers and aspect markers is a very known phenomenon in many IA languages and even many Dravidian languages. So this is an example from Marathi. Ram is never in the school in the evening, right? Nasto. Ram khara gabru nathi. It's very interesting because the copular negation marker is so similar to the one in Wagdi and Gujarati. Ram is not a good boy. So this is a very highly described phenomenon throughout literature. So what we need to inquire about it, right? We need to inquire about what is this incorporated negation phenomenon in IA languages, which seems to be very similar. Another important clue which can, help us in developing this analysis is the absence of nothing in past tense copular construction. I don't know how it works for these other languages where such incorporated negation elements exist, but it's something worth to see and check. Now we come to the next negation marker, the anaphoric negation marker. So other than answering a yes/no question, there is no other context where na can be used to express negation. So think about the English no and think about not. What do you use when you say, when you are negating a sentence like Ram eats an orange? You use Ram does not eat an orange, a not, right? You never use a no. You only use no in a sentence like 10ab, right? To answer a question like te keri khadi ke, did you eat the mango? And when you want to say no, and you say no, I did not eat the mango. Na, main keri nahi khadi. Just like in English, Wagdi also has a different anaphoric negation marker, which is not the case in Hindi. We use nahi usually, right? All right. So again, question time. Did you answer the question? Did you eat the mangoes in your own language? Can you answer it with just the negation marker? Like if you ask, did you eat the mangoes? Can you just say no? Or do you have to say the entire sentence? Do you have to say no, I did not eat the mango? Or do you have to say I did not eat the mango without the no? Is the one word answer different from your canonical negation marker? So again, then this would prove that you have one more negation marker apart from the copular negation or the sentential negation marker.
Vyom, have you had a look at Shrika's comment already, or shall I read it out?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. No drinking allowed. But do you, so yes, I see these in signboards. I can see that in signboards, but like a command should, if it's coming from a person, would he say no drinking allowed? I mean, like, yes, he could, but yeah. Thanks, Shikha. This is something that I can, I'll see. I never came across this. Yeah. Okay. But, Shikha, so I have another negation marker, which is specifically for imperative negation, right? I hope everybody understands what an imperative is. An imperative is basically a command, an order that we give. Go inside this room, lock the door, don't go outside. All of these are imperative sentences. And my language, Wagadi, has a separate negation marker for imperative constructions. Which other language which you might be familiar with might have another, like a separate negation marker? You can think of that. Go inside the room, don't go inside the room. Ana kamra mein ja, ana kamra mein nake ja. Right? So there is a difference of the negation marker. It's not ne, it's not the sentential negation marker. It is also not nake, right? It's there are two negation markers, nak and nake. Yeah, very similar to something like nako, but so nake is something different in Wagadi, and so the next slide will be about that. Nak was used to express the negation of a command which has to be immediately followed, and nake is something that is used to warn or request for future action. It's very context is very different. There's a very slight difference, and for people who do not speak languages which does not express this subtle context, is it's very hard to explain, but it can be explained, right? So the Hindi equivalent for this is उस कमरे में जा, उस कमरे में मत जा, उस कमरे में जाना, उस कमरे में मत जाना. The jana means something different, right? You won't say jana to express a strict command. It is something polite. It is something you would say to a child, for example, right? Just warning him that please don't go in that room. So 12a, ana kamra mein jaje. The J is a subjunctive inflection. Please go inside that room. And for ana kamra mein nake jaje. Nak jaje is not good. Ne jaje is not good, right? So in the future, do not go inside this room, is what is being tried to express, right? So yeah, there is a subtle difference. Also notice that in this particular polite imperative, the inflection on the verb is a subjunctive inflection, right? It's subjunctive morpheme, and that is being used to express this particular construction. And so that also hints at some relation between imperative and negation, because the negation marker seems so similar, nak, nake, right? It could be something completely phonological, but there might also be something more to that, is something that I need to look at, right? Now,
Vyom, before you get into your question time, Anjali has a question.
yeah.
Does us kamre mein nahi jana is it different from mat jana?
I would never say I us kamre mein nahi jana. I mean, so I'm sure many people can say it, but for me, I would say mat jana. Nahi jana seems very odd. It's like, so we also have this na marker, right, in Hindi, but you would hardly ever hear anyone use it except for correlative conjunct constructions. Na to Ram aaya, na to Sham. But yeah, uh, yeah, Bornini. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a legible sentence. That's where I can use it. Sure. But again, this sentence, तुम्हें उस कमरे में नहीं जाना है. I feel there is something more, and it is different from. It's like how we express commands in English. Like you will go using a future. You will go to the meeting tomorrow, right? It's different from go to the meeting, right? So yes, there might be some aspectual difference, there might be some mood difference. I am like, more than aspect, I am more inclined towards saying that it's a question of mood, right? But again, I haven't I am looking into these questions, but since this is a very subtle difference, people are just right now looking at the properties of these subtle differences and looking at what this actually means for the syntactic structure.
Vyom, I think Nupur had a question. Nupur, you had Nupur, you can go ahead.
No, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to say that in Bornini's example, you have
Oh,
to
okay.
say nahi and you can't say mat.
Yes, yeah, true. Yes. Yeah, Sampada's example, again, you are using theek hai, right? Which is added information or added like confirmation required, right? So there are many different elements into this. What I mean to say is that this particular expression of a polite imperative, what I'm calling a polite imperative, is different from imperative construction. There could be other type of imperative constructions, like the example that Bornini gave, right? And that can use any negation marker. I have these two ways. Okay, I would never say something like "Ana kamra mein ne jaje." That's not good. That doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for other speakers of Wagdi, right? So yes, if you would like to do this activity, translate into your language the following: go inside and don't do inside, and is the negation marker different from your canonical negation marker? So now coming back to the title, what I was saying was, as we have seen with
I can't find the way to raise my hand. I don't know where it's gone. I just wanted to say that, because the chat is flowing thick and fast.
Yes.
When somebody gives you an example, could you just read it out? So otherwise, one is always constantly trying to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
all
thanks.
Right. Yeah. So, we have covered till Sampada's example, right? I'm like trying not to say out loud the examples because I don't know these languages. But yeah, kamrai mein ja, you have to say nija, right? So I think, Sakshi, there's only like one negation mark. There's also konya, right? In Haryanvi, kamra mein nija.
There are three: na, ni, and konya.
Okay, so can you say na in your example, kamrai mein na jana?
No. कमरे में नहीं जाना, कमरे में ना जा.
All right, cool. Yeah, so in Malayalam it's different. All right, so the examples will keep flowing in. I will get to them. We can like discuss them because I am like at the last two slides of my presentation. So we'll just like get done with this. By the title, no means no, question mark. What I meant to say was, in the case of Wagri, where there are 5 different negation markers, are these negation markers only expressing negation, or are they expressing many other elements of the structure? Of course, the negation is definitely interacting with many other projections in the syntactic structure. Okay, in copular negation, we see that there might be some sort of interaction, some sort of incorporation going on with the tense projection, right? In imperative constructions, there might be something going on with the interaction of negation with the imperative mood projection, right? So it's no does not always mean no in languages which have multiple negation markers. It means more than that. It of course means no, but it also means more than negation, right? Now the questions would which like arise about negation here then would be what projections are involved in the expression of negation. How do languages differ in the structure and configuration of the system to express negation? What is the nature of these projections, and what are the features that they carry, right? So one idea which has been like one thing that has been time and again in through these talks and uh, through our lessons we come across is the use of the term feature, right? What is a feature, especially in syntax, in linguistics? uh, we know 5 features, right? 5 features are something. uh, but are we limited to just those properties of a noun, as in like noun, class, person, number, or are there more types of features that would be present, right? What motivates the different interactions of elements in a language? What uh, facilitates the movement of certain structures, the extraposition of certain structures, right? The agreement and all of these things, how are they happening? And features are what motivates them, right? Features would also be the motivating factor for the expression, for the existence of these projections in a syntactic structure, the alignment of the projections, right? What interacts with what has precedence over what, right? What has domination over what? These would all matter on what features they have, right? Here we can think of negation as a feature, right? It being so logical and like so inherent and so logical. uh, I would say that there is a neg feature, right? Certain elements like the negation marker would have an interpretable neg feature, and other elements which do not have that will a sentence which needs that will have the which has the neg feature will have the neg projection, right? uh, but all these questions again are subject to analysis, are subject to diagnostics, and I can come up uh, with a theory about this only afterwards, not right now. Uh, so these are the formalized objectives: determining the syntactic position of negation, as Kinzel asked, whether it could be below TP, above TP. We That is a question worth finding. Determining the nature of negation, whether it's a head or whether it's an XP, right? Whether it's heading its own projection, NECP, or whether the negation marker I'm saying, or whether it's a phrase, it's in the specifies just an adjunct. uh, I would be working, and I am working with the assumption that there is an independent functional projection NECP, expressing negation morphology in the causal spine, which has been argued by these people earlier. Uh, so now, I have shown you that there are 5 negation markers in Wagri. I've also shown by asking you to look for negation markers in your language, and taking the case of general major known languages like English and Hindi. We have seen many examples of languages and the different strategies of how we can express negation. So what we see is that there is a lot of cross-linguistic variation in expression of negation, right? And the variation is such that Bagdi has 5 different types of negation markers, while a language like Portuguese has only one negation marker, which is very sad for them because they have to express all these 5 different contexts with just one negation marker. And we are working in the current context, we are working uh, in a theory which is vouching for a universal grammar, right? So what it says is, no matter what your language is, the underlying structure, the underlying grammar of all these languages, Wagri with 5 negation markers and Portuguese with 1 negation marker, is the same. So we need to alter the theory or alternate theory to explain facts about negation, right from Wagri, which has 5 negation markers, to Portuguese, which has 1 negation marker, and say that although there is this variation, cross-linguistic variation, the underlying structure remains the same. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Vyom. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
the talk. And this is, I guess, the time to ask questions.
Yep.
I think we already have one. Yeah, Samarpriya has a question. Would you like me to read it
Yeah.
out?
I'll read it out.
Yeah, you read it out.
In Wagri, can you swap the position of the negation marker and the negated verb? Like in Hindi, jana nahi and nahi jana. For example, in Bangla, you can note on that it's jashna is allowed, but na jash is not allowed. Yes, yes, Shomupriya. It's not allowed in Wagri as well. I cannot say, for example, yeah, me keri ne khadi. I cannot say me keri khadi ne. That's not good for me. Me ne keri khadi is also not good for me. Apart from this sentence, apart from this particular order, it's not good for me at all. Without changing the meaning, I don't understand what you mean, Archana. But yeah.
Archana, would you like to come in and ask your question? On audio, you can.
That was for Ms. Basu, that you can change it without changing the context, or because I can say that in Marathi, but the meaning has a slight different connotation. So is that the case in Bengali or Wagri? As you said, Vyom, you can't do it. So yeah.
No, so what Shomapriya is saying is also the same thing, that he can't do it in Bengali. We can do it in Hindi, and as you said, we can do it in Marathi, right? And there would be a meaning difference. Yes, there would be a meaning difference.
Okay.
But I don't. I mean, like, I don't. You can't. I don't think that's what he's focusing on. And as Aisha says, we cannot do it in Hindi. तुम यहाँ जाना नहीं. It's not good for me. I would not say तुम यहाँ नहीं जाना नहीं. तुम यहाँ, खैर, I can't say नहीं जाना also. I have to say मत जाना. Maybe some other example. राम सेब नहीं खाता है. राम सेब खाता नहीं है. What this does in this particular context? Why can't I raise my hand?
I think yeah, Aisha, you can. I'm assuming you're raising your hand.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why I wanted to say this, that you actually, it's not, I can't possibly do this with a sentential negation. So,
yeah,
so rukna nahi is you ought not to stop. It is not the negation of stopping, right? The sentence don't, it's of the command, don't stop.
How is rukna mat for you, Aisha?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Rukna mat is fine. But so if I look at a sentential negation, I just can't possibly in to get a negated sentence, I might say maine seb nahi khaya. I can't say maine seb khaya nahi and have a complete sentence. Then I have to get a contrast, which is where Ujjasvi comes in, right? Where I would actually constitute negation khaya nahi. yeah, or something.
There is a contrast that's coming when
Yes,
I change the order.
proposition where you're using
Sorry.
yeah. So, but I don't think that you in Hindi or even in Bangla, which I speak, Jashna is not the same thing as Najash, is it? For Bangla,
I don't think you can even say that. Can you? Can we? Malab, at least he says that you can't, but other people can vouch for that. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Vyom has a question.
Speaker has
sorry.
an question.
Okay, but like Nupur asked the question before, I just like it's very quick, so I'll just answer that. Does any language have more than 5 negation markers? Just for random trivia purpose. I haven't come across any other language. I'm sure there might be, okay? Because I'm sure many South Asian languages might have that. Like expressing different levels of negation, which is a very prominent phenomenon in Buddhist philosophy. So I don't know. There might be, and I hope there is, and I find it. Yeah. So
Vyom, Shrikar has a question.
yes, Shikhar.
Shrikar, just come in.
Hi, Vyom. I just wanted to
Hi.
clarify one point from your last slide.
Yeah.
You said there's a need for alternative theory, right? So I'm just trying to understand what
No, not alternative theory, but like alternate approaches to the theory to explain the facts about negation from Vada. So I'll be more specific, okay, because like I can say this to you. So basically, looking at the problem of imperative and polite imperative constructions, right? Zanutini had long backs uh, argued for a bulimic projection, okay, bool p, which would be used to express such bulimic constructions, imperative constructions. And she said that it is the interaction of these with the negation marker, and there is like another projection in the discourse domain above C, which would result in all these different variations of imperative construction, right? But her data set only included languages in like mostly European languages, mostly Indo-European languages. So that is something that needs to be supplemented with more data from Indo-Aryan languages, Dravidian languages, from all sorts of languages, data from such languages, and then reanalyze is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, agreed. So my question was basically the way you the way you set things up. The first instinct that comes to at least my mind is that all of this is contextual allomorphy. Like depends on what structure is around you, you get spelled out in a different way. So is that not how people have been thinking of it, or like?
Sure. I would be really happy if that is the conclusion of my dissertation, right? That it's just like it's all allomorphy. That would be great, but it's a question worth thinking about, right? I have been at different stages about these research questions, and one of my earliest questions was about the existence of the neg feature, right? Whether like how to argue for feature like neg, if it really exists, if it plays a role in agree relations or not. So all questions are open right now, and I'm trying to go from one place to another. I'm trying to progress gradually, but yes, that is a possibility.
Vyom, Aisha has a question.
Yes, Aisha.
So not so much of a question as to carry on with Srikar's point. So I mean, okay, so this is a slide, so I don't want to take that seriously, alternate theory. But if you were to imagine a scenario where we hadn't started, like in many other things, with English, right, as a base language or an Indo-European language of the European variety. We would actually have had if we had started with Arabic or we'd started with Wagri, we would not have had a unitary neg P, right? Or at least on the face of it, the first version of the theory wouldn't have had a unitary neg P. You'd say this is here and this is there, etc. And so, one is in mood, you'll have a negation, you'll have a no lexical negation, you'll have, blah, blah, blah. You would have done those changes. But as that theory would have progressed, and we would have come to a minimalist universe, then what the 5 Wagner negations tell us is that there are 5 things that the neg head can interact with.
Yeah.
At least descriptively 5. And that the syntax of negation is not the same thing as the semantics of negation, which might be quite just simply whatever it scopes over. But that a syntax of negation is so not allomorph, right? But actually interactions between syntactic heads. Intervention effects of the kind that you see in English are one such interaction, right? Which is they show you there's an interaction between tense and a neg can act as an intervener. That's why you get de-supported. But I think the way to look at it is that we don't need an alternate theory or something like, seeing this as allomorphy that is just a morphological problem, but actually a relation between different heads and what the role that they play with negation. And so whether there is a neg feature per se, or it can be unified, because what is the intervention? Which feature is creating, is being involved in this interaction? And if the interaction is with aspect, with mood, with tense, with I don't know, whatever else was here, right? Then you actually get a complete, I think now, so there will be a new theory or a syntax account, which is going to be a little bit more, I think, than just allomorphic. That's what I wanted to say. Now I'll raise my hand. Now I'll lower my hand in order.
Thank you, Aisha.
Do we have any more questions? I guess not. Okay, in that case,
Yeah.
we will wind up. Vyom, thank you so much again for that very clear description.
Really, thank you everyone for participating and giving me data from your languages. That was really nice. Thanks.
And anyone wants to check out the previous talks, you can go to the website called flingjnu.com, and they are all up on that website, and you can watch them there and also check out the handouts. And the next talk, which is tomorrow at 2, is by Hima, the Tibeto-Burman Dravidian connection. Hope to see you guys there. So we end for today.